Hi PiYo Project people. Hi Summer Project people. I am on live and I'm anxious to see who joins, but I'm gonna get starting right away because like Larissa, I too have a pet peeve of the lingering start to a live video. Whoop, and we've got people on, so perfect timing. My name is Ellen and hi Michelle. Oh, goody, you guys were ready to go. You guys were ready. I'm so glad this time works out for you. I don't know what part of the country you guys on. Hi, Magda. Hi, you guys. Thank you for making it a priority to try to hop on live. I'm sure this time doesn't work for everyone, and some people will be catching the replay. So do me a favor, you guys. I do want you to engage with me, knowing that I have ADD just like you guys have ADD. That's why we like PiYo. We have trouble holding still and concentrating on one thing. You're in Illinois? Perfect. Guess what? I'm an Illinoisan too. I'm actually native to Texas. I live in the Pacific Northwest now, so I'm an Oregonian, but all of my schooling from elementary school all the way up to University of Illinois was done in Illinois. Like I just got back from Chicago. My mom's there. So, well, I won't bore you with details like that, but I do have a lot of information to give you. So I'd love for you to take notes and engage with me. I probably will miss most of your engaging comments, but I will come back into this group and make sure I catch all of them and reply. So let's get into the heart of this live video. First and foremost, I'm going to introduce myself a little bit more to you. I'm going to talk about 3 things with you today, all under the title of being Girl Boss. If there are any guys in this group, then it's man boss. I wasn't sure. I was like, can I call this video Girl Boss? So number 1, I'm going to give you my best tips and tricks on being the consummate professional. And number 2, I'm going to talk to you guys about creating community. And number 3, I'm going to talk to you guys about how to really rock originality. So those are the 3 things. Some of them sort of overlap and feather together. So what to say about myself that is short and sweet? I guess I just want to tell you how much I love PiYo. It's truly my favorite brand. I loved it. I like to say, if Michelle Park watches this, she's gonna think, I've heard her say this so many times. I really did love PiYo, and it really did profoundly change my life before it was cool. And before I knew what opportunities I would have with the brand. So I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud that I've been affected by and in love with this brand for so long, and before it became this monster thing that it is today. You guys know it's our best brand, right? Hi, Chris. So let's see. I started on round 14. It changed everything about me. It changed my physical fitness. I was recovering from a spinal surgery, a fusion of my cervical spine, so that's huge. Like that, it could be rehabilitative in my life. Like that was something as like major as a cervical fusion. It became something that helped me. I'm sure some of you guys can relate to this. It really changed me as a woman. It allowed me to feel feminine and beautiful in a way that, quite frankly, I didn't think I was before PiYo. And it changed the kind of instructor that I was and really broadened my skill set as a fitness professional. Yeah, Teresa's like, yes, I get it. So those are some of the things I love about PiYo. Let me get into the content. Let's see. Be professional. I have so many bullet points here. I do make notes. I am going to look at my notes because I don't want to miss anything. So I am also a group fitness director. I have been for years. So I do manage group fitness instructors. So I hope I teach you something today. And it's funny, as I was making my notes for you guys today, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to work on this a little bit more myself right now. So these things, no matter how much experience you have in the industry, or whether you're brand new to it, or whether you guys haven't even gotten out there and taught before. I'm sure there's the whole gamut in here. These are things that we never need to not revisit. So like I said, I was doing the notes for you guys today, and I was like, man, I've really gotten away from this in my teaching. So be professional. So when you're choosing your outfit, that's huge. So pick colors if you can within our PiYo color wheel. We fortunately have awesome colors. So, you know, we have those deep, like, purples and pinks and that turquoisey, topazy blue, and those rich emeraldy, you know, those jewel tones. So fortunately we have a great color palette, and a lot of great brands like Lululemon actually, like, I swear I swear Lulu comes out with clothes specifically for PiYo. I have some other favorite yoga wear recommendations for you guys that I'll type. Like Lululemon is great, but there's a couple other companies out there today that I'm going to recommend to you later, like in the comments. But also it's great to wear the logo. So if you can either buy or make logoed apparel, so you're wearing the name, that is awesome in terms of dressing the part, looking the professional. Having a command presence is also part of dressing the part, but it's more of an intangible. It's kind of like figuratively what you put on, not physically what you put on. So having a command presence can be as simple as a powerful, dynamic, confident posture, a smile on your face, and just a confident aura. You know you have it when you're at like the water fountain or in the back of the room or something, and someone comes up to you who's never taken your class before, and they're like, "Are you the instructor?" They can tell you have the aura about you. So that's a really important thing, that command presence. And I said, stand like you're confident. I didn't assume you are confident. If you're new to teaching, you might not feel confident, and that is okay. We have to start there. I started there. And however, we can easily convince people that we have just by our posture, that we feel confident, and then it only takes a few seconds for that confidence to actually come to us and be authentic. And then we are standing there feeling confident. It's that fake it till you make it thing. And there's a YouTube with like 4 million views. It's Amy Cuddy. It has to do with power posturing. So good if you struggle with confidence and having a command presence. Recently, I became part of PiYo's Power Stances. Yes. Recently, I became part of PiYo's talent team, so you guys might see me on some of the kind of more current rounds. And I have to tell you, since that's new and teaching to a camera is different than teaching to a class, I didn't feel confident. I felt really nervous. And so I had watched the Amy Cuddy video, and on the set, behind the cameras and all the production people, there's a bathroom. And I'm like, before I had to go on and mic up, I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom. I didn't really have to go to the bathroom. I just needed to power posture myself. So I went into the bathroom, and it really is, you guys have to watch the video before you think I'm totally corny. There is it's a physiological response. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you. There is, and Magda, thank you guys, 52, yes. There's a physiological response that happens when you power posture, and when you can just pull those shoulder blades back, put a smile on your face, changes your mindset, changes the way you're perceived, changes the way you come across. Okay, another thing about being professional is be aware of how you conduct yourself out of the classroom. So just in your communities, like, you know, in your communities, just simple things like abstaining from gossip and just all the things. Just know that you're watched. You're on a pedestal. When you're a fitness professional, people have eyes on you and they watch you, not just in the classroom, but outside of the classroom. Moving on, I like to tell my staff, because it's easy, this job is so fun. Teaching classes is so fun. And because we don't make a lot of money teaching classes, it's easy to view it as a hobby. It's not a hobby. It's a job. We're girl bosses, or boy bosses if there's boys on here. It's a job. I like to tell my staff, this is not a hobby. You get a W-2. You pay taxes. It's a job. Treat it like a real job. And if you are not an employee at a gym and you're an independent contractor and you're doing your own thing, you're doing PiYo and Pino at the park, still view it as a job, because you're still you're still self-employed then. It's a job. Moving on to being professional. Talk up your staff and field complaints well. If you're in the gym scene, so you have peers that also sub for you or teach the class before you or teach the class after you, members are going to sometimes complain about other instructors to you. So golden rule, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. How would you want someone, if someone was complaining about you to another instructor, how would you want that instructor to handle it? So it's going to happen. Maybe it already has. So be ready to field complaints well. I like to make the member feel like they were heard by me, but I don't want to agree with them. Even if I do agree with them, I don't want to agree with them. I want to make them feel heard. Tell them thank you for sharing. I hear you. You know what's really great about that instructor? Da-da-da-da-da-da. So that's what I really like to do, is have a compliment on my tongue ready to go. Okay, because it makes you look professional. This first topic is about being the consummate professional. When we agree with members, or when we talk poorly of others or other instructors or whatever, we don't look good. We don't look professional. So maybe you have someone sub for you, you come back in and they're like, yeah, that sub just wasn't as good as you. I would say something like, I'm just so thankful they were here, and they have, such a da-da-da-da-da-da. Something ready to go, some compliment. Okay, moving on. Be on time, of course. Oh, yay, I got emojis. Of course, be on time, and of course, be prepared. Those go without saying or without explanation. I might touch on them a little bit deeper in the next topic. Grow. Continue to grow. That's part of being professional. When I got certified on round 14, it was then called lesson 14, PiYo Strength, I continued to audit trainings. And in case you didn't know, you can do that for free as, someone who's, someone who's legitimately PiYo Live certified. You can go to a training, assuming it's not a sold out training and they have room for you, and you can sit there for half the day, some of the day, whatever you want. Just communicate with the master trainer. You will learn a lot, because we don't always present in the same exact way and say the exact same things, or you might be at a different spot in your teaching journey, so you might be ready to absorb a whole new level or layer of what's being said at that certification. Plus, the master trainer might use you as an example or ask you to banter with you, and that can put you in a leadership role at a training. But continue to grow is my point. I did 4 trainings. Just because I wanted to continue to grow. And guess what? By the end of that 4th one, I was like, yeah, good, Michelle, good. By the end of that 4th one, I was like, I want to do that. Like, I want to be a master trainer. So audit trainings. All right. These next ones kind of string together. Avoid complaining. It's easy to do, you guys. We're humans, and I'm a migraine sufferer, and I treat them. I treat them with Imitrex, so I know how to manage my migraines, but they happen frequently in my life, and so it's not uncommon that I am dealing with a migraine on a day that I need to teach. When I'm able to take my migraine medicine, there's like an hour where I I want to die. And sometimes that hour happens right before class, during class, 2 hours before class. And I would never let on. So maybe you're not a migraine sufferer, but we all have stuff. Maybe it's, I mean, there have been times where, you know, again, we're human. I'm in a huge argument with my husband and I'm crying or whatever, and I'm on my way to teach. Well, I slap on the mask, I flip a switch, I brush it off, I power posture and smile, and I teach a class like I'm the happiest person in the whole world with the best marriage in the whole world. So it's putting that best foot forward always. And for one, you know, no one ever wants to hear negativity anyway. It's just not attractive and it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything for them. And for two, there's always going to be someone in there. There's always someone who's dealing with worse. There's always. So, you know, what if you were complaining about, you know, the traffic that you were in on the way to the gym, and, you know, someone else was dealing with a cancer diagnosis in their life. You know, we never want a complaint to come out of our mouths when we're teaching. I save all that for at home to my husband. All those complaints come out then. So we want to avoid saying how many classes we've taught that day. You know, like the more we get into this, sometimes we teach more than one class each day, or maybe you taught, you know, 6 PiYo classes that week, or maybe you taught 3 PiYo classes within 24 hours. And it's easy for that to like come out of your mouth when you're in front of your classes. Oh, it's the 3rd time I've taught in the last 24 hours. They don't need to know. They don't need to know. It sends a message we don't want to send. It says, potentially, you know, 1 hour of work, 1 hour in here isn't enough. You should be doing more, you know? And we don't want to send that message. We want them, it also could potentially send the message of, I'm tired. You're going to get my B game today because I just taught 3 classes in 24 hours. So we never want to say that. We act fresh as a daisy. They don't need to know. Sometimes they do know because they follow us and they see, or they know what, you know, they know, but we don't need to bring it up. Similarly, avoid talking about any injuries you might have. Again, it's easy to do, to be like, oh, I'm just dealing with this hamstring today, or, oh, you know, my shoulder's been, you know, whatever. They don't need to know. It sends a message we don't want to send. I mean, they could think, huh, did she hurt her hamstring in PiYo? Does her shoulder hurt because of this class? Like, or again, that same message of, are we going to get a good workout from her today? So they don't need to know. If you're dealing with a little injury, they don't need to know. If you're not having a good day, they don't need to know. All right. So let's see. That's it for Be Professional. Moving on to create community. Are you guys still there? Are you still out there? Moving on to create community. Again, be on time. I said that in the Be Professional. Okay, good. Good. Someone's there. Cool. I got a smiley face and a thumbs up. Again, be on time. I know that was part of being professional, but it's also part of creating community because it helps with engagement. We've recently revamped our game plans for certification. So if you happen to have recently gone through certification with us, during the day you talked about engagement, both including before class, during class, and after class, and why that's so vitally important, and how that helps create and foster community. But if you're not on time, or you're hustling in there, you're not able to start creating community. It starts like the before and the after class are some of the best opportunities to create, because we're kind of distracted, we're kind of busy, we've got stuff on our mind during that hour. We can still engage while we're teaching, but I'm saying there's some magic that happens before and after class. So get there early. Before you engage, troubleshoot your stereo, Make sure you got your music going. Set the tone with some music. Test your mic. Everything's cool. Roll your mat out. Boom. You should have a good 10 minutes. If you're not squished on a schedule, depending on your schedule, 15 minutes before class is perfect. 15 minutes is on time in my book. Again, some classes are back to back on people's schedules, so you might not have 15 minutes, but if you do, that's the sweet spot for being able to troubleshoot, engage, meet new people, introduce new people to other people is a really big part of that. So when I meet someone new, I get their name, I say it to myself like 3 times so I can remember it the next week. Then I introduce them to the people around. That also helps me remember their name because I just said it like again and again and again and again. And so then I also introduce people to people. I try to make connections that, not just connecting people to me, but connections within the room to one another. So if I know that somebody's big into, growing their garden in the summer and I know someone else is, I really like to let them know, hey, you guys are both into gardening, and then, or whatever, whether they maybe share in common that I'm in Oregon, so they're Oregon Duck fans. Like some people are like raging Oregon Duck fans. I don't understand it, but I'll let them know, like, and then they start to banter. It really helps create culture. Also, when you're coming into class and I like to, if my class starts at noon, I like to be like ready on the tip of my mat with like a couple minutes to spare, where they know I'm ready. They can tell because I'm posturing. I'm commanding the presence I'm commanding the room with my presence by standing at the front of my mat, mic's on. They can tell my body language. I'm about ready to start. I've turned the pre-class music off, so that helps call their attention to me. And I like to sometimes just start with a conversation that helps build community. Like, all right, you guys, who did what for the 4th of July? Did anyone have family in? Did anyone go boating? Who did fireworks? Who has little kids? You guys, that's kind of stuff like people will respond to that. They'll start answering, and then they're listening to what the other says. This is how you build support. I forgot to mention something when I was talking about engagement before class, during class, and after class. After class, I like to think about this time as being the time to take the spotlight, which is naturally on us as the instructor, and turn it around and shine it on them. We have been the center of attention for an hour. We've had a mic on. Everybody's been facing us. It's awesome to just flip it around and ask questions about them, those people that come up to talk to you after class. Also, try to notice the ones that don't come up to you after class, because just because they don't come up to you after class and want some of your attention doesn't mean they don't want some of your attention. It just might mean that they're not comfortable kind of, coming up to you after class. So I try to notice those people that like to slip out and just make sure they know that I'm noticing them, appreciating them, that I might catch them in the locker room and be like, hey, how are you? You've been coming to class for so long. I love having you. What's your favorite thing about this class? So stuff like that is just huge. All right, so moving on creating community. You can do themes. So I'm trying to convince my PiYo class currently to wear onesies to class. I don't know if they'll do it with me, and I certainly won't require it. And I do have men that take class, so that would be really awkward. But yay, you made it! Hi, Laura. But anyway, like, if I pull that off, you guys, like, that's gonna create a serious memory that we're never gonna forget. Not to mention a few photos that will be classic. So sharing class photos and stuff like that with permission, of course. I know I want to do it so bad. I'm so scared though, but I'm gonna do it. I have some people that are down. They say they will do it too, so we're going to do it. But then, you guys, with their permission, of course, you get some pictures after class. You share those on social media. That kind of stuff creates community too. Because, by the way, connecting with your class on social media, this wasn't in my notes, but it should have been, is honestly, it's such a big deal because it helps you remember their names. and face, like it helps you because, so I often do have my phone on the stereo cabinet, and if it's not weird, I like to say, are you on social media? I love connecting with people that regularly take my class on Facebook. And so I try to bring it up in a not weird way, that I want to connect with them that way. And so that really helps with community too. And it makes them feel special. Like we're a big deal to them. I know to us, we know the real us, and we are like, oh, we're just normal, ordinary people. But you know, when you're the instructor, uh-oh, am I still there? My son just called. I'm so sorry. He's probably going to call back. I better stay with me. Stay with me. Don't go. I'm so sorry. My son is calling. He's 19. He's going to be 20 next month. I have 3 kids. All right. If that keeps happening, I'm coming back. If I get disconnected, I'm going to hop back on. We have one more topic. Okay. Here's another thing I do just to close that section on creating community. Like I say, you guys, do me a favor before you leave today. Like I'll say this when we're cooling down. I'll sometimes say it in the warm-up, but I often say it in the cool down, which is a great time to engage. I will say, do me a favor, you guys. If you don't know someone in this room, do me a favor and ask them their name. Get to know someone new today, maybe on your way out, maybe in the locker room, maybe in the parking lot, and I tell them why. I say, because it helps us build community. And if someone knows your name and you know someone else's name, they want to show up. And they know that if they don't show up, people are going to miss them. You're going to miss them. So I tell them, A, get to know someone's name. It helps us. It helps all of us be accountable to each other. And I tell them why. Lastly, and really similar, is I just talk about community. I talk about what a great community we have. I talk about what a great culture we have. And saying that gives it power. It's like self-fulfilling prophecy. If I just keep telling them, like, we have such a great culture here, we have such a great community, they're like, yeah, we do. Like, you know? Okay, last topic. Be original. Okay. I know that a lot of times when it comes to branding, people use the Starbucks analogy. So I'm sure you've all heard it before. But I am going to use it anyway because I think I put a different spin on it. And so here you go. The reason we use Starbucks as an analogy is because it's a great example of a trademark. It's a great example of how, with a brand, you want and you have expectations of quality with a brand that you love and consistency. So Starbucks is that great example because you know that if you get a cup of coffee in New York and if you get a cup of coffee in Dallas, Texas, you know what to expect, you know the quality, it's consistent. People will only get disappointed if their expectations aren't met. And so as representatives of a trademark, which is what we are, we have an awesome responsibility to use the content, to use the music, to be the best examples of authentically, like we were talking about PiYo 52 earlier in the thread today. Like if, you know, Magda is teaching 52 and Michelle is teaching 52 somewhere else in the country, and someone were to take both of their classes, that they'd be like, oh yeah, yeah, done this. Same, I know this choreography, and I got it. Yeah, we do this. So that is an awesome responsibility. So I'm a coffee person. In fact, I made coffee. I haven't had a sip yet. I'm going to take a sip. Oh, look. Check it out. Check it out. Illinois. See? I'm actually a Midwesterner girl. You wouldn't know it because I've fallen in love with the Pacific Northwest. All right. So I'm a coffee fanatic and kind of an addict. And I was traveling a ton. This was about a year ago. And it's when there was a super training in Pittsburgh, and I taught PiYo there, and a couple other master trainers taught a couple other brands, and I got PiYo. And I had coffee at a Starbucks in Pittsburgh. I also had coffee in a Starbucks in Portland, Oregon, and I had coffee in a Starbucks in Nashville, Tennessee. So, all of those experiences were radically different. Yeah, Casey! Except the Pacific Northwest is giving me allergies. Like, look at my, I don't even know what to do. My eyes, allergies, I don't know what to do. All right, so the guy in Nashville, this big, handsome black guy, big afro, huge dimples, just a smile with like a space between his teeth, and that's like the cutest thing in the world. He was just larger than life personality, filled the room, funny energy right from the second. Uh-oh, is it still frozen? Michelle, let me know if it's still frozen. I walk into the Starbucks, he greets me, he's super fun, and we bantered back and forth, and when he serves me my drink at the end of the bar, whatever, you know, well, you know how you, thank you, you know how you have, they write your name on the cup? He asked me my name, and I said Ellen. At the end of the counter, or bar, coffee bar, at the end of the coffee bar, when I go to pick up my cup, it said in a Sharpie marker, Ellen DeGeneres. And it was hysterical. It was hysterical because I'm nothing like Ellen DeGeneres. But because I said my name was Ellen and he was funny, he put Ellen DeGeneres on my coffee cup. I took a picture of it. I put it on my Instagram. It was like such an experience. I thought it was so funny. He was adorable. I loved him. And then, so anyway, then in Portland, the coffee place was totally different vibe. You know, the person who served me had like the plugs, the gauges, and like the dreads, and like the total like Pacific Northwestern like tatted up look. And then I went to one in Pittsburgh. So totally different environments. I'm talking different stuff for sale. I collect these. Different stuff for sale in the front of the store. This is Starbucks. Different furniture. Some looked modern. Some looked cozy. Some were like couchy. And some Starbucks have like everyone's doing business. Everyone's at a laptop. Everyone's there to work. Some are like more like, they're just different. And they feel different. That's how we want to be as instructors. Because if I had my choice, I'd go to that guy in Nashville every single day. I'd go to his class. If he was an instructor, I'd go to his class, right? So we want to stand out, we want to be different, but we want to authentically represent our product, which is what he did. So take this example and own it, and think about how, yes, your cup of coffee, your PiYo round 52, is going to be consistent, well learned, rehearsed, you know it, it's good, you're delivering it, you got it. They're going to get what they expect. How you deliver it, the culture you create, the environment, the classroom, the feel, the experience, that's up to you. So you want to be original, you want to stand out. The things that differentiate you, each of you, all of you, everyone who in this project who listens to this video, there are things that differentiate you from everyone else in this group. Those things, those are the good stuff. We want to accentuate those things that are different about us. I mean, Larissa is different than Melissa McAllister, is different than Michelle Park, is different than me, is different than Steve Dunn. We're all a different Starbucks. We're all a different experience. And if we can be confident in the things that make us different, that's the sweet spot. And we're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. And just knowing that helps you be you. If you're not sure, like, what does differentiate me? What does make me special? I don't even know. Ask people. Ask people that take your class. Ask the front desk. Say, how would you describe me? If you were describing me behind my back, thank you. If you were describing me behind my back to someone, what would you say? How would you describe me? Or if someone takes your class, how would you describe, why is my class different than someone else's? So that's a great place to start. And I'm about to close with just the difference between, just everything I'm already saying, just the difference between imitation and inspiration. So we don't want to imitate those that we maybe look up to, or we don't want to imitate anyone. We just want to be us. We want to be inspired by others and just really confidently, courageously bring out the things that are uniquely us. Darn, I'm so sorry that your video is frozen, Michelle. All right, let me just wrap in closing. In closing, we want to be professional, prepared, on time, we look the part, we're like either confident or we're pretending we are, either one work. We watch the way we talk in the classroom about fellow instructors, out in the community, out of our classroom. We avoid talking about anything negative, whether it's an injury or how many classes we had to teach that week or anything. Oh, I forgot to say this. This is one of the ones that I felt convicted on. I feel convicted on this so bad right now. Avoid being overly friendly, overly cliquey, because I have some of my very best friends take my class now. We've become very best friends, and I was thinking, man, I bet that seems cliquish. And I need to really be the professional. And yes, they're my best friends now, but not for that hour. For that hour, I'm the instructor, and they're in class. So, all right. And in creating community, ask those questions. Tell people to meet people. Tell them why you want them to meet people. Be early. Stay after. Turn that spotlight around. And then finally, you be you. Proudly, authentically. You're not going to be everyone's favorite Starbucks store, but you're truly going to be an incredible Starbucks store that some people are going to fall madly in love with because you're courageous enough and brave enough to be you. You that's different than me, you that's different than everyone in this group. All right, guys, thanks for hopping on live. Thanks for watching the replay. Let me know if you have any questions. And I do have some great yoga wear clothing companies that I'm going to drop in the comments. And if you have questions, should I stay on for questions? Why don't you type questions in the comments, because this video has gone so long already. Thank you. My dogs, they're all over the porch. My son called 3 times. Molly, come here. Come here, honey. Come say hi. Hi, little booger. My dogs, my son called 3 times. All right, I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for hopping on.